Hey everyone, and welcome to the first proper New Year. I mean, this is technically the first proper New Year one in 2021 podcast. Unlimited Train Works, Tushigatri. You know what it's about. We're here. This is like episode 56 or something. I think that's what it is. I don't know. We're pretty far in now. We probably can't stop now. But we'll worry about that later. With me, as always, is John.
Hi, folks. I feel like at this point, I can't quit anything regarding Chooch. It's been almost a decade now, and at this point, if I gave up, it'd be worse than when I started.
I mean, don't worry about those sunk cost fallacies, as they say, but I don't think we're sinking anytime soon. With
That's a good point.
Also, yeah. Elvie is also here.
Hello. I haven't been here as long as both of you, but
yeah,
it's still fun. It's still great. We're great. We have great conversations. We are miserable together.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Wonderful. Also, you said sinking. I don't know. Aren't we going with we're sticking to the train metaphor?
Oh, you're right.
Want a train to sink.
We're going off rails. We're not going off rails. We have a steady schedule. Well, that's not true. But it's fine.
We're on this ticket to nowhere, so it's a never-ending train ride.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They keep putting the tracks down in front of us, like in an old-timey cartoon.
Yeah, there's like an anthropomorphic wolf like at the other end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what Kurt does. He just puts down the tracks.
That is what Kurt's actual conducting position is. It's not really maneuvering the train itself. It is actually lining up the tracks. Yes.
God.
I appreciate his work. Thank you, Kurt.
It's very hard work.
Thanks, Kurt. Well, Kurt has very little in the ways of helping us in the world of anime because nothing is controllable. Nothing is known. There's no known quantity, I feel like, that we can ever get.
I don't know if Kurt actually watches anime.
That's a great question. John, what do you think? You're like his father, right?
I suppose
what do you think?
so, yeah.
Does he watch anime?
He does, yeah.
I don't monitor what he does because I trust him, and a good parent has trust in their child.
I'm sure you're making good choices, yeah.
Yeah.
Taste.
I've heard that Kurt enjoys he enjoys a good shonen. I would say, like the classics,
little man.
Yeah. He enjoys the classics, though. We're talking like the Yu Yu Hakusho. I think he'd watch some of that. Definitely a Dragon Ball. I would say he's more of a Dragon Ball than a Dragon Ball Z kind of guy, though.
Oh,
but
sure.
Still likes Z, but prefers Dragon Ball. That's what I say. Also, really into Utena.
Who isn't?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Kurt's got eyes, ears, and a heart, and that's all you need to enjoy Utena, basically.
He's a real '90s kid at heart, even though he's a what's after Zoomer? Is there something after Zoomer? I feel like that's
I don't know.
Be.
I mean,
He's in that category. Though.
I mean, he likes newer stuff, though. He's keeping up with the trends. He's keeping up with the newer stuff too. I feel like he's watching fucking Decadence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to know his thoughts on the sick dog. Like, how does he? Like, does he even watch it, or maybe that's too much for him to see another dog that's so sick? Like, that seems really heavy to deal with. That's probably bad.
Yeah, it's really challenging. Does not enjoy to see. I mean, he doesn't like seeing other dogs on the TV at all. It makes him bark. Yeah.
Great bit, guys. That was great. That was
yeah.
Genuinely, that was a great bit. Okay. Bits aside about what Kurt's watching, I think we need to talk about what we're watching because we didn't really talk about that too much last time because we were covering, the year of 2020 as a whole. I would not say year of our Lord. I would say whatever the opposite of that would be.
Probably not even Satan himself. Maybe
no, it was worse than that by far. Yeah. I feel like if you said like Year of Satan, you would think that that year was really sick. Like that was a really like cool year. That was not what 2020 was.
The year of Beelzebub.
Yeah, I wouldn't equate Year of Satan as bad necessarily. It'd probably be just something else.
A year of pandemonium and chaos.
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 It doesn't mean bad chaos. We don't have to assume that. Yeah.
We don't have to assume that, but we can just imply it. So yeah, the whole new season started. There's a lot this season, as we covered 2 episodes ago now, I think. There's so much this season. It is kind of crazy, and there's also like Jujutsu Kaisen still going, stuff like that.
There's several series like
still
ongoing.
going, yeah, and there's going to be even more from this season that go into the next. I saw like well, we'll see. A bunch of movies coming. Theoretically, the Evangelion movie will come out eventually, but they delayed it again.
And then I think the Yuri on Ice movie is supposed to again.
That's supposed to, as well.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I feel like there's another
people
one.
Saw one clip. That doesn't mean anything, unfortunately.
No, it really does not. Like, I mean, they were showing clips for the Princess Principal movie, and that's just coming out now.
Yeah.
Like, they were showing that back in, like, 2018, I think.
Which was when it was supposed to come out.
When it was supposed to come out, yeah. But who knows? Man, recently when I've been thinking about, like, because, you know, the big news in the anime world has been all Demon Slayer stuff all the time, I think, pretty much recently. And, like, I was just, like, thinking a couple weeks ago, like, oh, God, that's not good that, like, Demon Slayer was, like, the second highest grossing film of all time in Japan or something like that. Like, and then they're like, oh, by the way, the second lockdown starting. It's like, yeah, I wonder what caused it. Like, wow, man. Like, I'm glad that they're delaying Eva more, but I kind of wish that they would put it out digitally, maybe, and then do the theater thing later. But
yeah, I don't understand how the theater system works in Japan, where it's still like a weird issue. I know here in the States, it's a lot to do with like legalities that I can't explain.
Yeah.
Like how distributors and the production, like, you know, how people are making money and like how is that gonna, you know. But I don't know how it works in Japan specifically, where it's an issue. Where I wonder too if there legitimately is an audience difference and people really do not like digital. I don't know, because that seems to be the case. It could be a factor.
I saw that I thought they did some showings already. I thought there were like some like special early showings of the Ava movie a little while ago.
It's been done for months.
Yeah, like, I have no idea.
All the collaboration events are happening. Shinji's over there with Cinnamoroll somewhere. Like there's stuff going down.
They gotta.
Asuka got me to download Honkai Impact, which I haven't started up yet, but I downloaded it.
Oh, I've only seen good things about it. Basically, what they did apparently, John, in that game is they just had all the Honkai characters reenact the first episodes of Ava. I guess.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that the fucking angels were there, you know? Like, you get to fight fucking, like, Ramiel and the other one and all your favorites. You get to fight them, I guess, which is pretty sick and something I want to do.
Yeah, it's a fun little game. But this isn't about games. Sorry, we're not going to get sidetracked here. Again, I feel like we do this often, just turn it into a games podcast. It is anime adjacent. It's true. It is true. I guess
they are going to be in like every mobile game in some capacity.
You're right. The new Persona 5.
Yeah, we can regulate our gotcha game talk to this podcast to save everyone else's sanity.
Anyways, anime. Let's get started here. Let's see here. What are we going to talk about?
There's a lot.
How about we start with Wonder Egg? How do we start with that? We all watched it, right? We all watched Wonder Egg.
Yeah, sure.
What do we think about Wonder Egg? Elva, do you want to start? You want to start with your hot egg takes?
some great egg takes.
Hashtag egg takes.
Boiled eggs dropping here.
I'm quite very fond of eggs. I love eggs. Just to note, if my fridge is missing eggs, I'm like, oh no, I need to do groceries just for eggs.
Oh, same.
Because I adore eggs. Yeah, what a very, very interesting show. So it's I forgot who's the studio producing this.
That's the people who did 22/7, the idol anime that with the wall.
Oh,
And it made a lot of sense when I found that out.
I guess their portfolio is going to be weird stuff if they didn't do anything else. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is a weird show. This is a weird show. This is by someone who previously has had no anime direction experience. They've done mostly live action and like literature stuff, which is very interesting. They've done a lot of stuff that deals with like troubled youth and kind of like really hard themes. And this definitely seems to be a show that might head that direction, but so far it's just very strange. I mean, up front, it's very clear about what the metaphor is going on here, I think. But it is kind of hard to describe, and this is, I think, a show, too, that might be hard to describe, too, in terms of avoiding spoilers, because I think a lot of people are watching this and, like, in certain fate that, like, there's going to be a lot of weird stuff happening that they kind of want to be surprised about. But at least in terms of the opening episode, there's this girl who's kind of wandering at night, and she kind of enters this strange, twisted version of like what appears to be a school, and she's just kind of fighting these weird monsters. At some point, she cracks open an egg, and a girl pops out, and she has to help this girl in some way. And whoa, it gets like kind of gory. It gets kind of gory, not like body parts are fine, but there is blood, and yeah, like the monsters are scary CGI monsters. Not all of them though. Like there's certain, at some point they run into other creatures that are not. But yeah, it's a very interesting like mix, like visually, it's like a mixed medium stuff against CGI. It's like intentionally it's supposed to look like a collage. It's very colorful, and yeah, I think at least so far, anime seems to make it clear that there seems to be some sort of blur between reality and that the fact that this girl is dreaming, and she seems to be dreaming about like different traumas, unfortunately, related to school. So far it's not really clear to me, but like what I'm thinking is that she's meeting different people who are from her school, maybe, but at some point, unfortunately, like they've dealt with a lot of like their own trauma in their own way, whether it be bullying or even worse stuff like sexual abuse. And she's kind of trying to help them in these dream worlds. And there's eggs. For some reason, there are eggs.
There sure are eggs.
We gotta break the shell.
Yeah, or we'll never be born.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just a very interesting show. It's just, again, difficult to talk about because it's so strange. It's so surreal. I think I mentioned how it has this kind of Alice in Wonderland quality to it, where she is just kind of going into what appears to be this parallel world in her mind, but also not sure it might be in reality. And then she meets another girl who seems to be keen on like what's going on. The recurring thing is about what seems to be like her own problem with letting go of her the past, or rather, she seems to have some sort of guilt over the loss of another friend that we've been seeing in flashbacks, and we're getting a little more hints as to what happened there, and it's getting pretty dark. Like I said, it seems to be a show that will head a dark direction and will not be afraid to explore these issues in regards to like troubling issues when it comes to youth, and especially problems in the school systems and whatnot. Again, like bullying is a big thing here. It seems to be a big overarching issue. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to like what it's gonna do, because I don't know what to expect. A girl just came out of an egg. And curious to see how it's going to handle some things, whether in a sensitive matter or if it's going to go off the rails and just be bad, right? It's I don't know what to expect. It's a totally original idea from someone, directed and written by someone who hasn't touched this industry before,
Yeah. As opposed to that other show this season from someone who hasn't touched this industry. Woohoo. We'll talk about that later, maybe. I don't know, actually. Maybe not. I think when you said that this was by someone who generally worked in literature, that really made a lot of sense to me, because I feel like it has not a light novel vibe, but like a novel vibe, because there's been a couple animes recently, I can't call to mind immediately, but a lot of anime recently have been based off of novels rather than light novels, some books, and I think you can really tell when that's the case, just from how they're taking advantage of the visual medium because they can for the first time in a way that, like, for example, when we watched Haruhi, our complaint about Haruhi was that they translated the monologue so literally, that a lot of the like at a certain points of that show, it was like, why is this an anime? It was like just still frames of this room or him, and just he's talking, and that was like what makes this a show. Whereas like Wonder Egg, you can tell that they're really like, we have this ability to convey thoughts that would have only been words on a page, like that you'd have to write, instead of just writing it all down. What this scene is, I can show it, and I think Wonder Egg is really taking advantage of that. Because it's a gorgeous show. It reminds me of Kiyosagiga Ikehara stuff, like you said, LV, the first time it came out. Like, it really is that. Just the colors are great. The character designs are really, really good. Like, just the fact that she is wearing a hood a lot is crazy to me, because, you know, in a bunch of anime, they just have a hood maybe once and it's instantly taken off because they don't want to mess with the designs too much. But
she is rarely in a school uniform, in spite of the show being set, or the show's like whole framing is around like a school and kind of like the underbelly of like the problems that happen in the school. But she's always in this. She has a very unique character design. She also has heterochromia, right? For some reason her eyes are not the same color. And it's she just has a very interesting design, but it's not done in such a way where it looks like a bad, the joke of like the bad OC, where like someone put too many
an Angel Beats
on him
type.
But it doesn't.
Character.
Yeah, it doesn't stick out to me like that. I was just like, oh, that's cute. She looks cute. Like,
yeah,
it's very interesting, and because I guess it also fits in the context of how strange the show is visually. So it doesn't. She doesn't stick out. She like blends in. But yeah, you're right. Like the hoodie too is just very interesting. Where sometimes it's just done. Sometimes the hoodie is used for a cute effect, like a moe effect in such a case too. But it's just like, no, this is actually just her default outfit. Or again, the hoodies may be associated with a certain archetype where there's a slobby character, right? Like it's kind of associated with like just casual wear. But no, this is just her character design.
What do you think, John, of Wonder Egg?
So I'm all caught up. I watched the first 3 episodes. And I think it's phenomenal. It's been tackling a lot of really heavy topics with finesse, I feel. It's it's definitely a show that you're gonna have to maybe like look up trigger warnings for if you're susceptible to that. But goodness gracious, it is not pulling any punches, Like, they are fully talking about things like, being abused by a teacher, or, self-harm in many different ways. Whether it be, directly harming yourself, or, with things like eating disorders. They are talking about these things, but in like a legitimate, very smart way, and it's not just like laid out in front of you, like, it's stuff that unfolds, and these characters have a lot of layers, and like I feel like episode 3 was definitely the best episode yet. I don't want to go too far into it because I do just want people to watch it, but it's an episode where they introduce a new character who's this, like, poppy shithead girl who, she's very outwardly, like, she's very expressive, very in your face, and is very selfish. But she's using all of that to cover intense hatred of herself and guilt. And it's just incredible how it all unfolds. It's so sad and thought-provoking, and I love it. I really, really love this show. It's definitely something that the care over the 20 odd minutes that these episodes are on, they lay out characters better than I feel like a lot of shows do over their entire runtime. So I would say yes, it's very well paced as well. And yeah, it's really pretty. I wouldn't say it's like amazingly animated. You know, it's not. I don't think it's going to win like an animation award or anything, but it's definitely a step above what like a lot of anime is. It's definitely not half-assed. It is super solid though. It is super solid. Again, I think everyone should watch it. You know, maybe check those trigger warnings because yeah, it does get really heavy. But goodness gracious, is it so good?
I'm inclined to agree. The thing that I appreciated with regards to the teacher bit was that using the exact language, I think, that someone in that situation, like the abuser in that situation would use, like specifically like, I'm just doing it because it's right, stuff like that, like, you don't get to my place without knowing what's right, stuff like that. Good stuff. It was like, I think some of it's like, heavy-handed, but that's fine. I don't really feel like it detracted overall from what it was doing. And overall, I think it's a very effective show. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going. I hope it doesn't do the original anime thing where it just becomes bad at the end, but we'll see. Just hoping I became a god type thing.
It just
there.
I hope he's in his room thinking about what he has done. No, yeah, I agree. Like it's hard to trust. Like, okay, sticking with my personal, like, okay, 3 episodes in, if I don't like it, I should just drop it. But that was terrible. That went bad in the last 3 episodes. So I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't happen here.
I mean, 22/7 didn't go bad, so.
Yeah,
on the bright,
it was just odd. It was just an odd decision for what it wanted to present.
Sorry, that did actually remind me. I did have to say one thing, which is that the main character of Wonder Egg has revealed to me that the person who does all the it's the same character designer for both of these. They have such a specific type of girl. It is like, because the 22/7 main girl and the main girl from Wonder Egg are the same girl. They're the same exact girl, and it is so funny to me. She does not have heterochromia, but she has the same soft-spoken voice. She has the same hairstyle. She doesn't have heterochromia. They're just the same girl, is what I'm getting at. Like, this is like, here's my Mew OC. Mew is the girl from 22/7. She has heterochromia and magic eggs that she finds in a gachapon machine. The other girl designs in this show are really good, also, though. I would say, that one girl looks like she's from Bandori.
Yes.
And or like an unzombified version of the Zombieland girl.
Maybe a little less stylized, but definitely similar vein.
I really like the girl from the first and second episode. I can't remember her name though. With the pigtails, I really like her design a lot. They're good designs. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to the whenever the little boys uniform one is introduced. We'll see. Good show. All right, let's see here. John, you've been watching Soccer Wars. I watched only half of the anime. I was wondering how far you were.
I think I'm on episode 5, so I'm about where you dropped off.
Right. That sounds right.
I like it quite a bit. It's not anything that's incredible or anything, but God, it is so much better than the game. It's making me appreciate the world and the setting and the characters so much more, and how much they could have done so much more if it wasn't a romance story. Look, I don't want to be too mean to you and yours, Rose, but there's definitely a lot of folks who will just be like, yeah, just get rid of the man in this anime and it'd be perfect,
Yeah.
But it's true most of the time, honestly.
I can 100% agree for this one. Like,
they banish him to Russia.
They just send him to Russia.
Is this the original one, or is this
no?
Okay, so I can explain this real quick.
Yeah.
So this awkwardly came out before the game came out over here.
This is the recent one.
It's a sequel to the game. It's a sequel to the game. It takes place right after the game ends.
So you can't watch it until
you can't watch it. Yeah, so I obviously didn't stay kept up with it because like it was like on episode 8 by the time the game came out over here. And I was, trying to review the game. But yeah, so yeah, it just takes place right after. It's the New Age one or whatever. It's the same thing. It's just a sequel. Yeah.
Yeah. But like it is immediate that they start fixing problems with the game. Like the first thing that happens in the anime is they give character to Sakura's mentor, because in the game all she does is she just sits on a table and eats like what? It was like omelets or something. She eats like omu rice. That's all she does in the game. She's just she sits there and goes like, "Oh, Sakura, I care about her so much." But there's nothing else. You don't even know like how she tutored Sakura. I mean, like,
yeah,
she talks about like being her sword master or whatever, but that's it. And then in this anime, go ahead.
The insane thing about that character is that she is a guest. Like they hired the Shin Megami Tensei like art designer to design a woman for the game, and got her voiced by Miyuki Sawashiro. And they were like, we put a lot of effort into this character. And like John said, she says like 8 things in the game total. It's like, why did you do this?
And then she shows up in the anime. She shows up in the anime, and she's a masked vigilante, and she kicks ass.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's the first scene, is revealing that she's a masked vigilante, and it's like, why isn't this in the fucking video game?
Yeah.
And, yeah, and then the whole plot is that there's, like, a Moscow, team, and they all die and disappear, except for one girl who's she's like a little girl, and she lost her memories, and so she joins up with it's Tokyo Review, right? Is it Tokyo?
The Flower Brigade.
Yeah, the Flower Brigade. And then the man goes back to Russia to like investigate it. And so because the man's not there, all the girls interact with each other and get character development. It's fucking insane. It's so baffling that like they would like when I was writing up my Game of the Year list this year, when I was writing up my Game of the Year list this year, yeah, and I started writing about fucking Sakura Wars. As I was writing, I was just sitting there like, wow, like Azami really does have the best character development in this game because she explicitly does not have a route with the main guy. Like, the romance kills the writing of that game. It's so sad. Like, maybe if it was a sprawling epic that kept on going for ages and ages. If it was a longer
game, yeah.
Yeah, but then even then, I feel like it would kind of overstay its welcome, especially with the gameplay that it has, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a real lose-lose situation. But then the anime comes out, it's 100% better, but you have to play through the entire game to get it.
Yeah.
It's such a dumb thing, and like I'm glad that I'm interacting with this now, but when I finish this anime, I'm just kind of just gonna be like, all right, well now I kind of just want more, because the anime's shorter than the game is, you know. It's like having to dig through a bunch of dirt until you come across like, I don't know, this is such a weird metaphor, but it's like digging through a big pile of dirt, and then right in the middle is like a piece of cheesecake that is like perfectly wrapped, you know, there's no dirt on it, and then you eat the cheesecake and you're just kind of like, all right, well that's that. You know,
it's just like Speedy Diver's life,
I guess. So yeah,
yeah,
but I like it.
Find a Black Ops 2 receipt.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I guess I should also say that like it's a 3D anime. I'm pretty sure
it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's like 80 to 85% 3D, and it looks super good. Yeah, like I think it's just done in the like whatever engine they used for for the game.
Hedgehog engine.
Yeah. It looks good though. It looks really good. Like I wouldn't say it's like Land of the Lustrous good, but I'd say it's only a few rungs under that. You know, like the combat looks decent. It doesn't look super choppy. It doesn't look too grody looking. Like the shading is very good, and it has more fucking music than the game does.
It certainly does. I remember that was something, I forget who I was. I don't think it was you, but there was someone who was asking me when the game came out, like, "Oh God, that was my roommate. Is this just a game about musicals? Because I don't like musicals." And it was just like, I was like, "You think that it is from the first chapter, but it's not. Like, not even a little bit. Like, they don't even show them perform really.
No.
They have them do like PVs when they're doing their things. It's really weird.
They have a performance in the show pretty early on.
Yeah." Yeah.
It's so bizarre. And the episode that I'm on is Azami and the bookworm girl going on a spy mission. I'm so stoked about that. That's great. They never do anything like that in the game. One of them would go with the man, and if it was Azami, it'd be fun. If it was the bookworm girl, she'd be all over falling in love with him or whatever the fuck. And it's just let them be characters, please. I couldn't get invested in any of them to want to date them, you know? You think about something like a Persona game, or, some other... I don't play a lot of, VN's romance stuff, so Persona's what I think about, because that's the only real, thing that I play that has that sort of element in it. But when I think of, why I choose characters in Persona, it's because I get to know them, I enjoy them, I think that, that my character could have interesting relationship with them if they started dating, that's what I think about. And in Sakura Wars, it's 100% just, I fell into the relationship that I got at the end of that game, but, if I were to go after somebody, it would 100% just be aesthetics, because there's nothing to their characters. But now on the show, I do care about the characters, and if what was in the show was in the game, maybe I would have a legitimate choice, hey, I do enjoy this character a lot. I liked their writing. I would like to see them interact with the main character. But then at the end of the day, there wasn't even any, romantic interactions. There's one cutscene at the end of the game where they kiss at the fireworks show, and that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's,
pretty okay show. Pretty okay.
It's just,
it's okay.
They did... I think one of the games that works well, not from a romance perspective, but the way it works in spite of its romance, Fate Stay Night, if you will. It works effectively because each route is about how the characters interact with each other rather than specifically that one character interacting with you, which is the Sakura Wars problem.
Yeah.
It's Unlimited Blade Works isn't just, hey, you're dating Rin. It's, hey, Archer hangs out with Rin. He wants to kill you.
That's 100% it. It's not just that, it's not just that the romance is weak or whatever, which, I mean, it is in Sakura Wars, but it's the fact that you don't get to know those characters, and those characters don't interact with the other characters, and that is the huge shame. It's supposed to be an ensemble cast, and the strength of a good ensemble cast is seeing that cast interact with each other, and there's none of that in Sakura Wars, but it's there in the anime. So
this is reminding me that I am worried for the future, because I did like that anime, what I watched of it, and I did generally like the game as well. I enjoyed it enough to put it on my top 10, Yeah, they made they hired the Fate Go people to make a mobile game for that, and it failed pretty bad.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So worried about that, because I think Sakura Wars made a profit, I remember reading, but it was not the barn burner Sega thought it would be for some godforsaken reason. I don't know why you would put a series. Maybe they saw Devil May Cry come back and be fucking one of Capcom's best-selling games, and they were like, oh, we can do that with Sakura Wars, the game we localized one game of in the West. What a mess.
Sakura Wars is always niche, but then they make a new one, and it's not like the old ones. The old ones were all strategy games, so...
Yeah, if they do another one, which I hope they do, because the concept is great, if they do another one, they either need to hire, I don't know, a Fire Emblem team, then go back that way, or actually just hire Koei Tecmo to do the fucking gameplay. Because, if you're gonna do a Musou combat, you need to do a Musou combat. You can't just be you can't get away with a bad 3D beat 'em up in 2020, you know? Like, you can't. You can't. You just can't. Like, people aren't going to go crazy for that. I wasn't too offended by it or anything, you know, but it was just like, it's not going to suck people in. All right. So, Elvie, I watched the first 2 minutes of this, and then my roommate decided that it was too much. Tell me about Dr. Ramone.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry if this is a bridge too far for you. If you'd rather talk about something nicer and not what's in the show.
This is fine. So, Dr. Ramone, gosh. Again, like, I feel like a lot of anime, there's such, like, a diverse array of all sorts of titles this season in particular, you know, in addition to the fact that there's a lot of them. And Dr. Ramone, for some reason, was one of the things we glossed over, looking through the preview chart, where it just had a strange description and was just super vague about what it was. And the synopsis was basically something like, oh, there's this guy who, he has to cure all these, like, ailments for people, and, basically dealing with a lot of strange, diseases. Which is essentially the premise. But the description said something like, oh, everyone in their hearts has a mysterious disease, but there's a doctor who can fight this off, which modern medicine cannot cure. And I don't know, it's just very odd, because when you actually watch the show, it's actually weird shit like, oh, this little girl is crying mayonnaise tears. She needs help to stop crying mayonnaise tears. And, like, weird shit like that. It's so weird. And yet, I'm still watching it. So, basically, each weird ailment that, people are visiting this crazy man. Basically, this man is a shithead. He's kind of similar to Senku from Dr. Stone, but he's not as much of a shithead. He's a shithead in his own way. And he has, like, this kind of, like, deadpan assistant, and he's wonderful because he's kind of like the straight man of the two, and he's always like, like always calling out like his superior basically on this stuff. But yeah, and then he has a business where he has to take care of like a lot of weird ailments. But each weird thing that a person suffering from is connected to some sort of vice, either caused by them or something bad happening to them, and then ultimately, it's just it's kind of, again, a simple, they're kind of like parables, right? Parables, where, like, or moral lessons, where, like, at the end of the day, it's just about resolving that issue and confronting it. And 3 episodes in. So far, a lot of them are just shallow. So far, a lot of them are very surface, and they don't really address bigger issues at hand for some of them. But I'm just digging into it because it's very weird. I'm curious as to what sort of weird shit is going to happen next. How is this going to surpass Fish Cake Penis? So let me talk about Mayonnaise Girl first.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise Girl. So the thing is, she was not only crying mayonnaise, she was crying different condiments. And the whole thing was, apparently she, and then she goes to the doctor. She's unable to cry to prove to the doctor, like a regular doctor, that, everyone's like, silly little girl, you're just probably, everyone's dismissing her just because she's a child. Like, what? This is, first of all, that's very strange. If a girl is walking around and saying weird shit is happening to me, someone needs to, like, do a welfare check. Is she okay? Like, what is going on? But anyway, ultimately, after being dismissed by, like, normal, like, hell practitioner, she goes to Dr. Ramone. And the whole thing is, like, he like, the whole thing of how he treats people is he's doing the whole, like, reverse psychology thing, like, saying, okay, if you take this, it will help you. But in reality, it doesn't help them. Like, everything, like, so far, everything he's done in regards to offering treatment to people does not actually help them. It's always been, like, okay, they find out that the real cure is, like, I don't know, love or something, something like that. It's really just a placebo effect where he's intentionally messing around with people because he's also, again, a shithead, but also he kind of realizes that this stuff he's giving him, it genuinely is magical, but the effects from it is not actually helping, or it's making things worse in some capacity. And it turns out that she is actually like a child actress of some sort, and her mother like became like really selfish and very verbally abusive to her. Like, she just, her mother became very vain and is just taking advantage of the earnings from her daughter's career. and I think that the whole thing where she's crying condiments is connected to the fact that she used to love her mother's cooking. Like before she became overworked as an actress or singer or whatever, like a child idol basically. Her mother, she used to bond with her mother through cooking and whatnot. And ultimately she almost fucking died. This is the first episode. She almost dies at the end of the episode, near the end of the episode, because like, oh, it's kind of gross to describe. It's okay. This show is not as gory or like it's not graphic as when you think of it as I'm describing. It's actually it just looks stupid, right? And also, the production value of the show is kind of cheap too, so a lot of times the drawing's really bad. But anyway, the point is that she almost fucking dies, and only then does her mother realize, oh shit, I've been shitty. I should, I much rather lose all these possessions that I bought rather than losing my daughter. And then the mother's magically not abusive at the end, and that rubbed me off in the wrong way. It was like, okay, that's a little weird, but that's just an example of kind of like the stuff this series goes through. Now, the next episode, a guy's dick like turned into a fish cake, and his whole problem was, oh god, and his whole problem was that he was basically, cheating on everyone. He was just an asshole. He was just like sleeping around, and he's not being transparent to like all these women he's with over like I'm like he's like, yeah, he's just seeing other people. He's pretending that he's like monogamous when he's not. And ultimately this, yeah, and I don't know if you take secondhand pain really seriously, don't watch it. But again, like I said, they don't show anything. They don't really show anything. They rather imply it. And ultimately, it just took the guy to like come to terms that like this is not okay, and he had to confess to each woman that he was just sleeping around, and that resolved the issue. Basically, there were like a lot of jokes about, Dr. Ramani saying like, your dick is gonna fall off. Basically, yeah, this guy's dick was gonna fall off and just rot away because he keeps doing this, and that was kind of like the whole thing. Yeah, there was just like a lot of gross humor in this episode in particular. But this one, I felt like the message was more clear and better than the previous episode, where like, at the very least, like it was made clear that the guy knows, as much as his actual physical ailment was going to go away, like he still caused a lot of harm, and that he realized too that he actually genuinely did love one of the girls, and that didn't just magically resolve itself. It was clear that he still had a lot of work to do on himself, and it was just very open towards like what he was going to do next with that information. Whereas the first episode was just like, oh, her mother was suddenly just magically not awful to her anymore. Like, I don't know. I think that girl should not stay at that home if her mother acted that way, just because now she almost died and whatnot. So, and then just one more episode. The third episode, which is basically a guy was slowly disappearing because he stole something. I think he stole a necklace that was helping him steal stuff, but in return, it was sucking away at his soul. But, yeah. And then it introduced another character and whatnot, added to the mix. Like, there's, like, a little girl who's, like, actually an older witch who runs a shop selling weird stuff, and, like, her assistant. But, yeah, that's, like, the show. There's, like, weird, like, again, someone has a weird thing going on. It's related to a bad issue they're struggling with, or something that they brought upon themselves. And then Dr. Ramane has to kind of indirectly solve it by, coercing them to realize, okay, they're doing something wrong here. They need to confront it. I don't know. It's just like very interesting so far. At times, like it's not really funny. At other times it kind of lands flat, but otherwise it's an okay show. I think really more so my issue with the show is, some of the messages they want to give aren't really strong, or they're kind of very, like, weak. It's like, oh, okay, this is like a story I've heard thousands of times before. Of course this guy, I don't know, this sounds silly, but I'm like, oh, of course this guy's dick is gonna fall off because he's cheating, like, whatever. Okay, there's, like, tons of superstitions where there's similar things about that, but I guess that's the point. I'm pretty sure, I guess maybe they're drawing from, like, actual, like, silly superstitions where, trying to translate it into, like, a modern sense, but... Very strange show. Didn't know what to think of it entering in, and still don't know what to think of it watching it.
Like I said, we stopped watching it instantly. I don't know why. I guess it was too much for her.
I think it was the moment she started crying tears. Like, oh, this is...
Yeah, it was just like, oh, no.
Not great. I don't know. Like,
it certainly sounds like a show.
Like, okay, yeah.
I hope it doesn't go anywhere too far. based on what
Right.
you've said so far. Like, I worry that the irreverent tone in which they handle it while mixing it with more...
Something goofy.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I watched that actually reminded me? We watched instead of that was... have you seen Kimono Jihen at all?
Yeah.
What a weird show. I've watched the 3 episodes that are out now. It's a very strange show. I don't have too much to say about it, which is why I didn't write it down, but it's like I guess it's just a shonen, but like the main kid's like some oni type thing. He just dies like 3 times so far in the show. I don't know what is going on with that show. It has very weird vibes. It's like yokai, but not really. I don't know. I don't think there's enough of a show yet for me to make a judgment on that. If we watch that instead, they look exactly the same artistically to me. Also, those 2 shows.
They do.
They look
right.
exactly
I've
the
only
same.
seen like 1 episode of it so far, but like they do. I don't know if it's.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. There was one studio, the studio that's doing Cells at Work Black, are doing like 6 shows this season because they seem to have hoarded them all year last year instead of releasing them. It definitely seems that way, at least, because they released, again, like 6 shows this season, which is not a normal thing to happen anywhere.
Right.
I forget what else they're doing. They're doing a bunch of things. All right, let me run through a couple things that I was watching that aren't necessarily big bangers, and then we can talk about a more collaborative thing, I think, again. So I'm watching Slime. I'm probably the only one.
I'm sick of that shit.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, the thing about Slime is they're really setting up that shit will go down soon, and it will stop being like all overpowered joy time all the time. At least that's what the opening seems to imply, because they have him in his little Final Fantasy villain outfit, which looks really good. But yeah, most of the first few episodes have just been like getting back to the good parts of Slime, where he's doing diplomacy and stuff, and like going to meetings, which is way better than fighting a giant thing because you're just the strongest thing in the world, you know? Or dealing with the kids. The funniest thing about the kids who really grinded that show to a halt, I remember we both felt that way, John. The kids are now just in normal school.
Okay.
Like, he just goes to like check up on them and they're learning fractions. And it's just like, they just like went from like, because he was like, oh good, all the kids won't die from their isekai disease or whatever was that he was trying to stop. So it's just like, all right, now they're just learning math. And it's like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. And they just introduced a bunch of sexy women. That's basically all they've done so far. They introduced a bunch of like animal ladies or whatever, who and they did diplomacy with that. It was enjoyable. It reminded me of the good parts of Slime that I enjoyed, so hopefully they can keep that up more, because I really do think that it came to a screeching halt at the end of that first season. As things kept going. Also, the Millen character, who I thought was the weakest character of that show, has not been in it at all.
All right.
So that's good. Because he was just like, we introduced a second super strong person, basically. And
Yeah.
she's also like really annoying. I
Yeah.
guess. So that's nice. It's just you're just hanging out with the goblins again, and the goblins are doing a bunch of stuff. So it's like, yeah, all
I
right.
respect the goblins.
Goblins are great. They're doing a lot of stuff with the old man, the old man Oni guy. So,
I remember him. Yeah.
yeah, they're doing some stuff. The only thing that I have to comment really as a criticism on it is the purple-haired Oni lady's boobs get bigger every scene that she's in.
Like literally, or do you think
They
That's
literally
supposed
get
to
bigger every scene that she's in. They don't acknowledge it in the show. Like, it's
Okay, I was gonna say.
it is very clear. It is very clear in terms of animation. They are making them bigger every single time she's on screen.
All right.
Like, they have just been progressively getting bigger, and the only reason I know this is because Rimuru is always underneath them.
Yes.
Because he's the little slime, and she's always carrying him around or whatever. And I can see how insane they are getting. It is insane. They are like bags of sand at this point. They are massive. They are huge. They just keep getting bigger, and it is...
This is like a game. It's like, how big will they get?
Yeah, how big will they get? That's what I'm asking.
Or will they shrink? Like, is there going to be...
Yeah,
that's like, oh, are they going to...
They reset sometimes.
I want by like episode 6 for him to just be like
You can't see
completely
him.
enveloped, and
Yeah.
he's just like, help!
It's just like...
Mysteriously, she just has none. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
just the one episode, she just looks normal. She just looks like a normal... It's just,
What? That's kind of funny, but also, wow, who's doing this?
I don't know. It's like they're so
gosh.
big. It's insane. Like it really is like I said, like they reset. Basically, it feels like almost every episode they just reset, or like they'll go to a hot spring and they'll reset. Like I don't know. It's
Oh my gosh.
it just genuinely, because again they're so prominent whenever they're in a scene because he's under there. It's just like, on the opposite of a criticism, great thing was when both of the girls were like, we have to make a fancy dress up for he's going to like a round table meeting or whatever with the dwarf king and someone else or whatever, and they're like, oh, you should wear something like diplomatic or whatever, something like that, and they just start dressing him up like a French aristocratic woman and stuff like that, and they're just like, this will be great, and he's just like, I mean, they're cool, but like, I don't know. It seems like a little excessive, but they just keep doing it. And I was like, wow, this is great. He's not even like upset about it, I guess, which is what most shows would do, you know? It's like, oh, yeah. But then the outfit they made, he was like, I want something that's like somber, but like just professional. And they just gave him a suit with a cape, which is really funny to me. It's just like a red and white, like king cape. And it's just like, okay, very somber. So other than that, the ReZero is continuing to go, and like me and Trixie complained that the last season sort of didn't go anywhere because of the pacing issues of COVID type stuff. Meant that like all of the resolutions to the setup, which the thing about ReZero is it is a show of setup and then payoff, right? The entire thing is like he's fucking it up and then he gets it right. That's like the whole conceit of the show. And it was just basically we got an entire season of him fucking up and that was it. So it was kind of miserable. But now it's like really going through and paying off all that stuff in a really good and fun way. They're finally like covering characters who didn't really get much in the first series of ReZero. Like the white hair girl, the main white hair girl. You, from all the images you've probably seen of her online, you would probably not know that she does not do anything in the entire series, despite being like in the openings and endings for all of them and all this other stuff. Because, you know, Rem was like the big thing. Rem was the hotness.
It's okay, she's cute. She doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah. Well, so Rem's not in the show anymore. And hasn't been for a long time.
Oh, okay.
So they're like covering like, you know, Ram, her sister, who no one talks about ever. Who's really, really good.
I like that her name is Ram.
I do too. She's great. She's so much better because she's just like, whereas Rem's like just the nicest girl you'll ever meet. Ram is a real sick fuck. They're covering like Amelia, who hasn't gotten much now, and I think they're doing it in a more interesting way. They're covering Garfield, who I mentioned, the cat boy. Did some fun stuff with him. They covered even his little merchant friend, Otto. They did like a whole episode about him, his little merchant buddy.
Otto.
They're covering all these guys. They brought Echidna back again also, who's been away for a little bit. She's a great character.
She's the white-haired girl. That's what I was talking about, right?
No, Amelia's the white-haired girl who I'm talking
Oh, okay.
about. I'm Echidna.
I meant Echidna. I don't give a shit about the
okay,
other-
Amelia. Whoa, wow. Okay, well, Amelia's like the main heroine of the series, and she's done nothing
Okay.
the whole time, pretty much.
I meant Echidna.
Yeah, well, Echidna's back too.
Okay,
and
that's
they're communicating together.
Okay.
It's good. It's good stuff. The funny thing to me is that you can tell that this was planned to be like the first part of the season or whatever. Like it was just going to keep going because they're still using the first opening and ending for like
yeah.
dramatic moments and stuff like that. It's like, okay, because the second opening and endings have been singles now for months out there. I did not know that the band Myth and Royd had broken up.
Really?
They have, yeah, and the lady's just the singer lady is just off doing her own thing now, I guess. But they got her for that, so that's good. Yeah, just a good show. I have a couple more little things, but I'll break up the pace by talking about something multiple people watched, which is, I'm sorry, John, me and Elvie watched Dr. Stone.
You're sick.
We're still going.
You're
We have to
sick.
know.
We're going still. The train ride does not stop.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll live vicariously through your mistakes.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know how Elvie will feel, but I didn't feel too negative about this. I think it wasn't the worst parts of the first season so far. I think they're keeping a steady pace, at least so far. Well, I'll let Elvie say what she thinks. What do you think?
Yeah, I was surprised. The first episode was weaker, but I think the second episode was honestly like stronger. I was like, oh, okay, they finally decided to touch upon this plot thread that they should have done episodes ago. But I'll start off. The first episode was kind of like, it was just continuing off where we left off. It's winter still. The sciencey thing they learned how to do is freeze dry things. So the ramen, as we all remember, they've been making, that was kind of like the big major dish everyone got obsessed over when Senku introduced it to everyone. Is they learned how to freeze dry it. So they basically They basically learned how to make cup noodles. So, okay. And they didn't actually go into it thoroughly because the other half of the episode was dedicated to the fact that they were really, I don't remember if they resolved it, but like they really put closure on like, we're gonna make cell phones. We're gonna fucking make cell phones, guys. And they fucking did make cell phones. Well, no, they made some sort of like they made some sort of phone-in voice communication device. It's not really a cell phone, I would say.
A radio.
And they realized that I forgot her name already, but basically like, Lily and they're Ascended, that blonde woman who in the space station. Their
the
ancestor,
idol,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
I said Descendant. The singer. So basically now, this whole season, I think, is they're gonna have like a whole, the Stone Wars. They're gonna have like a whole, they're gonna try to settle a whole rivalry they have with the other faction of people. And one of their plans was to project the song, like, that kind of like that pop song that song she was singing.
Oh God, yeah.
To attract like attention. I forgot exactly what it doesn't make sense to me personally, but they were gonna do that because they found the record. That was the whole thing. They found a record. I didn't figure out how to play it. And what's messed up, as Jen, as we all know, he's a fucked up person. He's probably the most fucked up of all of them. However, I don't dislike him. He is fucked up, but he's actually one of the better characters, I think, because
definitely.
of that reason. He reveals he can actually imitate people's voices perfectly. This whole time he was able to do this, and they never went over that in the first season. Anyway, he reveals he can act. So they find out that they can't really use the record. I don't know, something about it was off. Or no, right, they couldn't play it. Actually, I don't remember. Whatever. Point is, he reveals he can emulate that singer's voice perfectly. Like he can emulate a woman's voice perfectly, and he can do it. It's really weird. So that was kind of unsettling. But entering the next episode, they move forward with their plan. They're gonna go to the place. God, I forgot the character names, whatever. It's gonna come to me eventually as I'm watching this thing. They just go to the place. They're planning on planting, they're basically planting one of the phones there so they can bridge communication there to get in contact with Senku's old friends, who, of course, he for some reason just forgot about. He didn't, but I don't know why, he's just letting his friends be in danger like that the whole time. And at the same time triggering, like, these sort of bombs they made to, fish out, like, some of the the stronger people that they that they were dealing with. I forgot the name of the pink-haired girl first. Yeah, the acrobatic pink-haired girl. And then meanwhile they kind of tease that there's this new character. He's like an archer. His like color scheme is yellow, so I'm gonna call him the yellow guy for now. I don't know if they said his name at all.
The Yellow Ranger.
The Yellow Ranger. Yeah, they're all color coded. Like I realized the Tsukasa Empire, right? The other people, like they're all like color coded, but the Senku Science Kingdom is not. So whatever.
Their flag sucks ass. I just want to say also, like that's the big thing that stuck out to me.
Right. And ultimately, at the end of the day, they the point is they found the fake like Senku grave that was made like in the Tsukasa part, and they plant the cell phone there. Again, not really a cell phone; it's more like a walkie-talkie. I realize now that I'm talking about this. They go back. And Senku finally talks to, like, his two friends from the beginning after all this time. Thinking they were, not sure if either of them died. We're focusing, like, Senku goes to this village, right? Like, and then, people who descended after his dad. So I don't know if they're all his adopted dad, because, right, they were like, no, we don't want to imply Senku's related to these people in case people want to ship him with these girls.
Yeah.
Or something romantic comes up, right? They just last minute said his dad adopted him.
God.
They look exactly alike.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah,
Fuck.
But yeah, they finally are bringing attention back to these two characters that were with us in the beginning, which is, and that was just nice. I think that was just nice to end on that note. There was, like, a lot of progress with that. It's like, okay, this is getting somewhere, but I feel like this should have been dealt with, like, episodes ago. Maybe not to the extent of, like, oh, we're doing this we made all this technology, but why in the hell did these three trust each other that they wouldn't die, given that they're on two separate factions now? So, I don't know, it's just now going on the track of, like, this whole, like, back and forth thing between Senku and Tsukasa. But the thing that stood out to me the most was the music's actually really good. The music, The theme song, the ending song especially, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe this. And if not even better, I think, compared to the first season music, it's actually legit good. And I think, Rose, you were saying, you felt like even the production quality improved too, and I think it's just because of, like, all the money now being put into the show because of how successful it is. So they're kind of just upping the ante with it, and this seems like a more action focused, I don't know about action, but like more action, like more action focused season probably too, given how things are. So
I have to imagine it will be. I mean, they changed the title and everything, right? Like it's
right. The Stone Wars.
I don't know anything about where it goes. I get push notifications from Shonen Jump app, which I have not used really ever, but the push notifications are really funny to me because they'll just say things like Boruto's into a little bit of an oopsie this week or something like that, and I just think it's funny to get a push notification like that every now and again. So I've gotten some about Dr. Stone. None of them have been like decipherable to me, even like as knowing the show, where it would be like Senku setting sail, and I'm like, where? What? Okay, sure, whatever. Like things are getting hectic in Chile or something like that, and I'm like, what? Oh, okay.
They're another country.
I guess so. I don't know. Who knows where this goes? I saw like something. If they say it at one point, like the second depetrification, and I was like, what? Like, what do you mean the second? Like, okay. Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I think they had a much better pace overall in terms of like, teaching the thing and then having it be in practice, which was something that, again, to like echo what I was saying about Slime, like something they sort of got bad at as the first season got on. It felt like where it was just like
they forgot okay, there was a formula, it was good, but they didn't really stick to it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, like the way that they were like, hey, we're going to explain how we're making freeze-dried food, and then we're going to like in the next episode like subtly be like, hey, the reason we can win against these like super freaks who can do backflips and stuff is because like we have rations and like communication and stuff like that let us like survive.
We eat enough.
Yeah, like literally, like because like they're able to like outsmart the gymnast lady, the pink hair one, because like, again, they're eating food and she's just jumping through the trees all night and stuff. Like,
right.
So yeah, like yeah, I'm optimistic. I think for where they're going with the season, we'll see how it goes. Yeah. All right. Let's see here, John. It's your turn. What would you like to talk
boy.
about? You can take your pick here. You have a couple things. If you want to talk about Eurocamp or Heaven's Design Team.
I was gonna go for Heaven's Design Team.
All right.
I'm pleased with the show. I read a good amount of the manga, and this is doing a fantastic job of representing that. It is just a quick little funny show. You know, I don't have too much to say about it because it's just a comedy. It's just a nice, light comedy. For those of you who don't know too much about it, you know, we talked about it a little bit on the preview episode, but this show is about a hypothetical scenario where the good Lord above created all of life actually didn't do it because after doing most of it, God got bored and was like, you know what, I'm just going to delegate this to some angels. And so it's just about like a group of angels who are just sitting around a table coming up with ideas for animals. And it's honestly just very funny to see how just absurd animals are. You know, you think about all the things that exist and how just completely insane they are. Because one of the running gags is that a lot of the characters will, like, in the process of trying to come up with something new, will come up with, like, a mythical creature. You know, like a unicorn or an ogre or something like that. And then that gets rejected, but then they change only, like, a handful of things about it. And then it's like, oh no, this is a real thing now. They started out with an ogre, and then they edited it slightly and made it so, like, its body could properly relegate heat, and that it's, you know, it could handle its own weight, etc., etc. And then it just turns out to be an elephant. And it's like, damn, elephants are just, like, these fucked up weird animals, but they work because they're real, and we just don't really think about it, you know? So
I think, like, so many animals are so fucked up. I'm going to be real with you. Like, you know what animal is the least real animal? I say this all the time because I love them. The red panda. What a load of shit that is. That is not a real animal. That is like a fake animal that just like, that is an alien that landed here and is trying to blend in.
Rose, that is what
It does look like, it does look like a fantasy animal made up of a hybrid of different things.
Yeah, it's too cute. What are you going to say?
That is what this show is about. That is 100% the gist of this show. It is just, hey, there's some weird shit that exists, and you know, it's very cool that they exist. They also have those, like, Kimono Friends style things. They don't, like, bring in zookeepers, which, you know, that would have been cool, but they do have, like, little bits where they're just like, hey, this is how this animal actually works in real life. But I mean, they explain the animals pretty well while they're doing the quote unquote creation segments too, because, you know, like, they talk about how, you know, like, certain animals, if they're too tall, the blood wouldn't get through their entire body and they die. Or if something is, like, too bulky, they die of heat stroke. And, you know, like, they talk about how, like, you know, polar bears are that big because they're in the Arctic, so they can be cooled down more. But if you moved a polar bear somewhere that wasn't cold, they would die, even though, like, a smaller bear could survive it. It's very informative, but also very funny. You know, it's just, there's so many incredible things in this world, and Heaven's Design Team is just a great little celebration of that, but in a humorous way, and so I enjoy it a lot, and I would recommend it to everybody. I mean, I guess I could continue, since that was
go right ahead.
Yeah, I'll talk about Eurocamp for a bit as well. Eurocamp is back, and it's just as good as before. It's same shit, different day, but I mean that in a good way, because it's just more Eurocamp. It is just as good as it was back then. It's hilarious and heartwarming, and the highlight of the week, because you watch that and you feel alive again. It is a shot of adrenaline that you need. Are either of you watching it?
Not yet.
I
Very
would fall
excited,
asleep I will
I
be
mean-
killed by multiple girlfriends for this, but I would fall asleep.
I mean, that sounds lovely, honestly, you know, getting...
It kind of makes sense, yeah, in the backdrop. It's just running. I guess that's the point.
Rin's out there solo camping, but then she's like, wait, no, I could hang out with other people. That's how it was in season 1, but you know what? She's grown. And she enjoys her solo camping, but she also enjoys the company of others, and it's great.
Yeah, there can be both.
It's very good. It's very good, but I have like nothing to say about it because it's Eurocamp and nothing happens. But
That's good to know.
in a good way.
I think it's good that something like this. It's like nothing changed, nothing new to say here. If there was something to say, it probably might be bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Like nothing to report, Captain. We are plotting. We are going full speed ahead here on Eurocamp, the Eurocamp ship. It is just good. It is just good. And I mean, you know, that's kind of it, other than the usuals. But I mean, if you'd rather I wait for that, because I don't know.
I mean, you know, yeah, you know, yeah. I'll cover a couple little things.
Okay.
And then we'll do another round. How about that?
Yes,
We'll
of course,
do
of
another
course,
round.
of course.
All right. LV, you take a pick. You take a pick of what you want to go from this list. Actually, tell me about I asterisk chew, I star chew.
The
gotta know.
title stylized it as I star chew, but I think that pun is just I chew. So, which kind of sounds like Haichu, the candy. First I want to comment, there is like an unusual amount of titles this season. A lot of them, you know, just as a separate statement, yet there are a lot of unusual titles. But there's an unusual, like, larger than normal titles than we had in a long while in this season, where there's like a lot of them that clearly have some sort of like Bishonen pandering element to it. You know, whether it be an idol show or it's just a show that has an entirely like male cast. And I've watched all of them so far. A lot of them are bad, so I just dropped them off, on the ground, not looking at it again. So I'm settling with these two I've listed so far that are okay, that have caught my attention. Because at the bare minimum, they're not bland, they're actually interesting. And that was kind of the big problem with a lot of them so far. A lot of, not so far, but a lot of them, or their premise is, we got these attractive, like, Bishonen boys, and we might sell merch with them, right? But Aichu is actually interesting, and the thing about it is that Aichu is, alas, though, based on a mobile idol gacha game thing. But it's actually interesting so far, because the character is interesting, and then, like, what they have going on is interesting. And they seem to, and based on what I'm reading about the mobile game, is that they're taking a huge departure from it, where, again, like, a lot of these idol games put you in the role of, like, a producer managing these people, these units. Whereas the anime is just not doing that approach at all. The producer character, who is a woman, canonically, she's just not doing anything. She's just, like, on the side so far. I don't know if they're going to do anything with her further on, but it really is just jumping around between focusing on the different guys. And yeah, I think they're, like, interesting. Like, again, they're interesting. That's, like, I keep saying that word, but it's kind of sad how that's, like, a bare minimum of, like, what catches my attention. Because, again, we have this problem where, like, all these shows with these huge ensemble casts for the intention of, like, we want to do gacha stuff with them. They're not interesting. Like, they kind of... How do you repeat the same archetypes over and over again, where it's just... that would be still sustaining my interest as someone who's, like, watched a lot of this stuff or consumed a lot of this stuff. And I think they're doing a good job so far, because I don't think they're handling stuff in a way that it's balancing between... we're gonna do, like, this little slice of life thing while also showing the idol. I don't know, like, the vibe of Aichu specifically reminds me a lot of Idol Master Side M, which I thought was a legitimately great series, because Idol Master Side M specifically was focusing on the male units in the Idol Master franchise. And I think they did a good job of, like, just looking at these characters and looking at their regular lives, and how Side M specifically was analyzing how does an older man, like, break into something like this? How, like, it was just, like, It was just a lot of stuff evaluating things in regards to masculinity, and, like, breaking that stigma of, like, and again, they were not the main unit they were focused on. They were not old men particularly, but older in the sense of what typically an idol would enter, right, and how they're marketed. But it did stuff like that, and I feel like the series is going in that direction, if not like in a lesser thoughtful way. But I think it's doing that. The funniest things to me that's grabbing is like it's outright showing these people suck. Like the main unit they're focusing on really sucks. Like they're not great. They're like just everyone's just sucking so badly. So they're like basically all in this idol school. What's the most fucked up thing is that their principal is a giant anthropomorphic teddy bear man in a crown.
Uh-oh.
No one's questioning it. I think he's actually a man in a suit because the way his voice acting sounds mixed. It sounds like someone actually muffled speaking from a suit. But no one's questioning it. No one's saying anything about it. I don't get it. That's kind of the most weird thing to me. But that's that. It's kind of fucked up. But point is, they're doing a good job of just showing how these people suck. And they don't really show that, I think, in other idol shows I've watched where they're just kind of succeeding right away, or there's some sort of Mary Sue quality about like, oh yeah, they're just gifted and they just break through right away. I don't know. That's what I kind of liked about Love Live. They kind of showed it up front over like, wow, they did not. The first episode is, like iconic. They're performing like at a show, and then they just don't get good reception at all, or no one shows up. It's really funny.
Yeah.
I know it's cruel to say that, but it's just good that they showed that, and they're doing that here. And like literally the main unit, again, the main three guys, again, there's like tons of other units. They're literally like, I think they're doing a thing where they're trying to gain numbers first as they're training. And they're literally performing in the street like every day and no one's paying attention to them. The most recent episode they dealt with a big show and no one cares about like any of them, like, because they're like headliners for a bigger idol. And yeah, I don't know, it's just interesting so far. And again, like the characters are all archetypes, but they're done in such a way where I think they're doing a good job of just jumping around between them. But it's funny because some of the characters are outright just copies, I feel like, of characters from specifically Orin Host Club. Like literally there's a guy who is just Tamaki but a different hair color. There is literally a guy who is just the twins, but they're just a different hair color. Well, the guys. There's a character who's literally just Momoji. He walks around too with a plushed animal. Just a different hair color. And all three of them are in different units. I don't know, it's just odd. But out of these shows that just came out this season, like, oh, we got a whole bunch. This one stuck out to me so far, and like it's keeping my interest. Just a quick comment, like there's the ice skating tournament show. Very boring because it has a huge ensemble cast, but they're not doing a good job of like keeping me invested at all. But this one is, and shockingly, I would have not thought this one would have, because again, it's based on a game, and I feel like these shows that are based on like a mobile game specifically tend to do the bare minimum of keeping my interest. Or they just don't do enough to convince me, like, okay, I can take this in as like its own thing, and I don't have to consume the game. Like sometimes they do things where it's just like, oh, this is just an introduction to the game.
Right.
Whereas no, I would want to enjoy this like without the context of this just being an advertisement for the game, and I feel that way so far. And yeah, I looked into more of the music, and the music's pretty good. It's pretty fun so far.
It's good.
I'm glad that there is more stuff talking about in general, like older people, quote unquote, here.
Right.
Doing things.
When they're just like barely 30.
I think in general, like, just this wave of anime where like they're in college instead, or they're like just stuff like that where they're moving the bar forward away from high school has been really nice to see. But I think like the ironic thing, I was thinking about this recently when we were talking about A Day I Became God, is like when they make the high schoolers anime now, the high schoolers are doing like deranged things that high schoolers should not be doing, like stuff like in that anime, or there's a great transition. I'll talk about Promised Neverland after this, but like Promised Neverland with their super genius babies or whatever, right? Like stuff
yes,
like
exactly.
that. Like the opposite end. I do hope that there is more stuff like this going forward. I imagine in Japan it's the type of thing where it's just like, since there are more and more people who have been like, or who were for the most part forced into a life like as like, you know, salarymen and stuff like that, and like really as they're getting up there in age, like actually branching out into more creative works like they had wanted their whole life and stuff like that, and having that be reflected in their work. I think that's interesting to see.
I think too I think it's also acknowledging what still remains to be a problem with the shrinking child demographic as well. Like,
Yeah.
so now you have more of these people, like you now have an older population of more and more people into anime. They're indeed adults. We're not. So a lot of times that makes sense too, besides like depicting, okay, we're going to actually depict people in their proper age group as they should. But also it makes sense that if there's kids being depicted, they're kind of depicting them in situations that are very cynical. And I guess that kind of is some sort of weird, I don't know, like a collective venting, probably. You know,
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
It would just kind of go deep on this, and I don't want to assume, but I wonder too if, like, you know, a Japanese millennial who's watching this stuff, it's like, okay, yeah, this is like a more accurate representation of my frustrations when I was growing up. You know, again, something like Wonder Egg Priority. That's like a very stark, though more grounded example of it. But yeah, something like Promised Neverland, like super babies doing insane shit, going into dark stuff. Super Genius Babies 3. Well, 2. This is season 2, right? That I think it's just an interesting shift towards a more cynical perspective on like what youth lies versus romanticizing it, which typically happens in anime, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could view Promised Neverland to an extent as an almost like allegorical look at what like the world is like for children in Japan because of how things have been set up, right? Like, even if like the declining birth rate is a result of their direct capitalist policies and stuff like that have forced people into the situations that they're in. And like that makes the world, even if like they were having kids, the world would not be a nice place for those kids, right? Like it wouldn't be great. Like they would have to adapt way more than anyone else and things of that nature. Man, they got that's the thing that always gets me about whenever, like, you know, Shinzo Abe went out there and was like, oh, we have to fix the declining birth. It's like, I can tell you right now how you can fix it. Do you want to hear how you can? Like, I have a few ideas that would make it really easy to fix it.
We just had this like era briefly. Well, I wouldn't say an era. It wasn't clouded.
It was kind of an era. It was like 10 years.
He
mean
created
like
an era of a different kind. But I'm just saying, in anime terms, in anime manga, like we just had this weird splurge of bizarre pregnancy prevalent in anime. That was definitely an indirect like response to that, whether or not the people who created this stuff were aware of it or like, I don't know, subconsciously they're like, yes, babies, you know? And
yeah.
Then,
we gotta move to the countryside and have children.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So Promised Neverland, let me tell you. So you remember, did you watch any of that, Elvie? I know John didn't. I think it was just me and Trixie.
I have not yet started the second season.
So so did you see the first one though?
Yeah.
Okay, so you remember the super babies. So you know where that ended, where they all escaped their hell house.
Right. Yep.
So the first episode literally opens with them being chased by like huge demons in a forest.
Okay.
And like these other demons show up and just murk those guys. And they learn all about demon religion for the rest of the episode, basically.
All right.
And how there is a faction of demons that basically don't believe in, like, killing and eating humans at all. And they reveal, like, what the nature of that world is. I don't want to spoil it too much here, so if you'll watch it and other people will watch it. But they reveal the nature of the world at large, which is pretty interesting. In terms of what that means for things going forward. I'm very curious because I saw a lot of people when the first season was going was like, oh, it's so weird to think about this series as they were reading the manga or whatever. And it's so weird to think about this series as being about them escaping a house, because that is like not what the rest of the series is about at all. Because I remember when the first season was airing, there was a sexy wolf lady on Twitter. And I was just like, who is this sexy wolf lady? Like, what is going on? And then everyone was like, oh, she's from Promised Neverland. And I was like, pardon me? Like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
okay.
what? And
Yeah, I think it's gonna get weird.
it is already getting pretty weird.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where it goes forward. There's one thing I have to spoil just because it's like the funniest thing I've
Right.
ever heard.
That's fine.
Okay, it is. So these demons help them and like teach them how to hunt and kill and like animals and stuff in the forest, gather herbs, do all this stuff to survive basically, and then they send them off at the end. And one of the demons is just like smiling or whatever, and she goes, this tinier demon girl's like, why, what's up? And he's just like, we could have reported them or whatever. Even if we didn't eat them, we could have reported them and probably lived comfortably for a while. And she was just like, well, I don't want to do that. And he's like, me either. And he's just like, my reason is because if they just live in the wild and reproduce or whatever, our religion doesn't say anything about eating wild people or something like that. And it was just like, so like, it was just like, dude, you're playing the long con that you might get to eat a burger in like 130 years or something like that. Like, what? This is insane. That's the most
Yeah.
insane motivation I've heard for a character. Which I guess they're trying to show the demons are twisted, right? Because they're just twisted.
Right.
I don't know where they go with that. I don't know where that show is going in general. It's very weird. They're set up in a way right now, but I don't know. They're introducing technology. It is 2028 or something like that for them. So it's really weird. I don't know. It's a really weird show.
Yeah.
Other than Promised Neverland, I'm thinking about what else I'm watching. Did either of you watch the Spider Isekai?
No, not yet.
No, not
Oh
yet.
man,
It's a lot of stuff.
there's too much stuff. I know.
Too much stuff.
We've
It's
all
like-
seem to have watched a lot of different things.
Yeah, it's a good spread though.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
I mean, there was also a lot of stuff I ended up like not committing to, so that was kind of thing. I
Oh,
was
sure.
like taste testing things. So
So the Spider Isekai is pretty good. It's basically, so I know a couple people who have been reading the light novels for this for a while. And what I've heard is that in the light novels, basically the entire thing was set up to a like payoff, basically, and then a lot of back flashbacks for a while. So what they did instead, which I think is really smart with this anime, is they are concurrently having those things that were flashbacks happen at the same time. So basically what's happened is the girl gets isekai'd and she's a spider, right? That's the premise of the series.
right.
Okay, all of her classmates also got isekai'd, like a couple of other series as well.
Okay.
And so what happens is like they meet up eventually or whatever, and then they explain what all those guys were doing. Instead, what they do here is this really good I'm trying to think of a word, contrast between them, where it's her doing all of her insane spider things, like barely surviving or whatever, and then it's just like showing them all do normal fantasy isekai stuff, and then being like I don't know, one of them will fall down the stairs and they'll go, "This is horrible" or something like that, and then it will jump cut to like her on fire, like rolling around in a cave or something like that, just being like ah, and I think it works really well for that series. It's just fun. It's I think it's like it's definitely inspired by things like slime and things of that nature. Like she has the little, computer voice you leveled up or whatever. But they're going a lot more fun directions with it, because it'll be like she'll be like, "Heh, all right, I know. I'll just get like the ability the slime guy got in the first episode where he's like he can detect things or whatever, and like learn abilities of everything." So she's like, "I'm gonna get that ability first, and it's gonna be great." And then it's just like she'll like walk up to a wall and she'll be like, use the ability, and it will just be like, it's a wall. And it'll just be like, and then she levels it up and it's like, it's a rock wall. And stuff like that. And it's just like a ton of abilities like that or whatever that I think are really good. Like I think the last episode she just got, like, she was like, all right, I'm going to spec into a stealth character, because that makes sense for spiders, right? They're stealthy, they gotta hide, and I got poison already, so this makes sense. I'll do stealth things. So I'm gonna upgrade my ears or whatever and do this thing, and then she can just hear everything, and it's just like this is the worst. I have a headache all the time now. This is the worst ability I've ever gotten. It's just like, it's a lot of her suffering basically, and then just like these like fantasy princes and stuff like that are just like, oh, good heavens, I'm learning how to use magic, which is I just think it's a really great dichotomy to set it up that way. Because I think that it'll still make that, like, whenever they eventually meet up, I think that'll still make it effective without having to then info dump everything that has ever happened, like in the books or whatever. The only thing I take umbrage with is that there is this other girl who got isekai'd in there or whatever, and she got turned into a little, like, puppy dragon. It's like a dragon with puppy, like, floppy ears and everything, and she just hangs out on one of these guys' shoulders and stuff all the time. And it's, like, phenomenal, and she just, like, is really strong and cool, and she's complaining the entire time. And everyone's like, I'm so sorry you have to be this. And I'm just like, that's, like, the ideal life right there. Like, they're just, like, a floppy little dragon thing. Like, you don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
Man. She's like, you think a girl thinks this is cute? And I'm like, yes. But it's a really fun show. I was expecting it to be, pretty trite stuff, but I think they're doing enough fun stuff with it to just make me want to play JRPGs more. I really just want to level up, want to do things. Yeah. Also, the ending is absolutely insane. I recommend looking it up if you get a chance. Just
I saw it. It's very good.
Absolutely.
Girls
insane.
are hanging out. Yeah.
One thing that actually reminds me, the thing that I really liked that I learned is that she looks like a normal spider enemy to everyone else in the world. Like a RPG spider. That's just her self-image that she's really cute. She thinks that she's a really cute spider.
Aww.
Like, the ending is just her crying about not being a sexy magical girl or whatever when she got isekai'd.
Yeah.
So.
It's fair.
So yeah, watch that. The only other thing I have to talk about is Log Horizon, which is back, and it's Log Horizon. That's pretty much all I can say about that. It really feels like it did not stop. It has the same production values. The only thing that has changed is they changed the opening for some reason, and that I will never understand. But the opening is done by Bandmaid now, which is just a band full of maids who does rock music. So,
Alright.
Good.
that's pretty good. Still the best MMO anime, hands down. It actually feels like that dude played MMOs. He probably played a lot of MMOs when he was in prison.
Yeah, if you had internet, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I'm scared of is the opening has, like, do you remember when I was complaining about the magical index openings where it's just like they just keep showing people? Like, they just, like, it would do like a cut for the opening and there would be another group of like 6 people or whatever. It just kept going and there were like 70 people in the opening. That's what the Log Horizon one felt like this time, where it was just like every cut, it's just like, I was like, I don't know who that, why are there 10 maids on the screen? Who is this? Why is there just like Japan? What is any, like, it was just very hectic. But yeah, it's still good. It's only on Funimation though, so a lot of shows this season are on Funimation, which I'm never happy with because Funimation has the worst distribution of any site that I've seen in a while. I'm not going to come out here and say Crunchyroll is good, but compared to Funimation, they feel like an incredibly well put together website.
And now they're owned by the same company, so Crunchyroll's going to become worse, probably.
Yep. Great. It's great. I did hear that the Funimation app for the Switch is apparently quite good because it's a completely different.
It's highly specific.
It's because it's a completely different app. All the other ones that are on like the PS4, the PS5, stuff like that, they're the same app, right? Just
right.
Everything. The Switch one is completely original.
So it's not broken because they decided to make it.
Yeah, because they make a new one.
Program it, and they refused to apply that approach to the other one.
Maybe they will. maybe they'll just release this one everywhere else now. I don't know. I cannot pretend to know the technical specifics behind what makes that app work better or not, but we can hope.
My favorite is when I watch an episode and like it's using subs of some entirely different series.
Yeah.
But it was probably like of something else I just watched in my playlist, and I'm like watching the whole thing and I don't realize it until some minutes in.
Yeah.
Where the dialogue does not make any sense and it's not even synced.
My two.
It happens so many times more than it should.
Yeah, no, it does. It's so bad. The two things that always get me are, one, this might just be a Roku app specific thing, but I've only ever seen it with Funimation where it will just like all of a sudden melt the entire screen and turn into an anime we were watching before. Like
what? That's
it will
weird.
just like,
oh my gosh,
it will like melt into Technicolor and then turn into the other show or whatever. It's insane. I don't know why it happens.
That's scary.
The Funimation subreddit said it happens elsewhere too, so I don't know. It's a nightmare. The Funimation subreddit is really funny if you ever go there because it's just people going, so like, is the app still shit or what? I haven't watched in a while or something like that. That's all the posts.
It's just a status check, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no actual dialogue.
And similar to your issue, the other favorite thing that happens is that the subs will just randomly become delayed. They'll just, all of a sudden, like, you'll be watching, and then there will be no subs for, like, a full 20 seconds, and then it will come back and start slowly, playing as if it had never stopped, and it's, like...
I've had no other issue with any other, like, service in regards to, like, streaming something that, you know, and I usually put on English subtitles on anything I watch, if I'm streaming it. And never had any of those issues. I don't know what they're doing when it comes to, like, the files of the scripts that I don't know what the deal is and why is it going off the rocker.
It's because, I mean, like, I don't know. I can't pretend to know. I assume they're just terrified and they have, like, some really bad, insanely specific setup to, like, really try to curb piracy, I guess. Probably. They seem really paranoid about that stuff overall. So, I don't know. Oh, it's so bad, though. All right, Elfie, do you want to talk about... okay, so there's two things you have here. All right, do you want to talk about Oh No Sesshomaru, What Have You Done?
All right, well, it has happened. They have confirmed it.
Yeah.
Inuyasha Hime, Sesshomaru indeed has fathered the two twin characters, our main characters, with Rin. Yeah. That's actually the last episode I saw. That was just the episode where they showed the flashback, and then he fucking, like, takes the babies, and then Rin's like, okay. And and who knows what insane evil shit he's doing. But also, what's great about... so that in itself, that's an issue. I have a lot of thoughts on that. I'm sure you do. Many thoughts that are obvious and what I feel about that, but also more importantly, it does reveal what happened to Inuyasha and Kagome, and like, okay, why are they also absentee? What happened to them? And I think that's actually important to me. I was like, okay, that's interesting. And it seems like to explain why Maruha is the way she is because she was probably raised by Koga, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. And that's cool. That's cool stuff. It was great to see Moroku again being exactly what I expected to be him. At this point in his life, he's just depressed for some reason, and his kids hate him. Well, no, they don't really hate him, but they have like I don't know. It's just interesting seeing how like his own it's just interesting and good to see that. Okay, we kind of have the classic example where we're returning to see these main characters, but they're not in a great situation right now. They're kind of like have their own problems going on. What bugs me though at this point. We kind of have set in stone that, okay, we're meeting old characters. They know what happened, but again, unless there's some sort of underlying thing to justify why they're acting the way they are, why is no one telling the main characters, like, okay, your dad is this is what happened. Why is no one telling these girls this? Why is everyone just being weird and being like, oh, they look familiar? And then they don't actually say shit to them. Yeah. Why is no one explaining stuff to them? It's like whenever like people are like, "Oh yeah, you know Yasha's your dad, Mara," and she's like, "Who? I don't know who that is." But then they don't like
say it. Yeah.
They don't follow up and say, "Actually, what? Why don't you? What? Like, why is no one following up on them? I don't understand." That would if they. That's my most frustrating thing about this show. It's like, why is no one just explaining shit to them? That would just resolve the problem at hand is, you know, like, what they're trying to find. They're trying to find out where they came from, what's the deal with these eye of pearl things that their parents had, and, like, I don't get it. Like, I truly do not get it. Like, It's very frustrating.
We knew it was going to happen, okay? We knew it was
Right.
going to happen.
It was like-
I'm still like,
it was just
I
like
can't
holding,
believe
like,
that it happened, I guess. Because it was like, why were they stringing us along? You know, why were they giving us hope? Why were they giving us, like,
Right.
some sort of, like, vague thing that this was not what was going to happen?
And at the end of the day, my real frustration is that it does not even make sense. Like, again,
Yeah.
this is my bigger issue beyond, like, okay, this is not okay. You know, again, people can walk around the circle being like, well, unfortunately, those relationships happen at that point in time. No, my main issue ultimately, you know, besides, you know, the age and, like, power dynamic, is that it does not make sense. Like, it does not make sense for his character, who just does not show any emotion to anyone. Like, all these crazy ass shippers, I'm sorry, they are crazy. I'll say that up front. I don't care what they think of me. All these shippers who are like, oh yeah, he totally shows emotion. No, you are looking at subtext. This character has not showed any sort
Yeah.
of emotion or care to anyone.
Ever.
You are looking through the rose-colored lens of, like, a shipper, hoping that Shishamaru deep down was showing care for this girl. In addition, in the this is just why can't we have characters that are just kind of coded as asexual? It's possible for them to, like, appear in a sequel and, like, oh, you know, and again, this I talking with other people who had other theories, like, I feel like it would have made more sense if he had, like, if he fathered kids with someone who, like, was not important, and I feel like that also makes more sense because it just shows how, like, he does not care for people. I think.
Yeah, like Virgil Devil May Cry.
Yeah, and then, like, if they just died or something, like, okay, whatever. He just was so, like, dismissive of it, especially how it showed him too, like, being weird with his own children, his own daughters, for the sake of, like, some other motive. And two, like, just in the context of, like, how the series is, like, you know, again, like, just back to the argument, like, okay, there were a lot of historical relationships like that just happens, whatnot, and sometimes it's just one-sided, right? That's true. That could be true, that what Rin just saw this as a one-sided thing in her experience, in that character's experience. But, like, in the context of Inuyasha itself, every relationship that they showed in a positive light has been what a relationship is in the modern sense, where there is a two-sided consensual, like, romance for each other. Inuyasha and Kagome, you know, Sango and
Yeah.
And despite how, like, petty the tropes they went through, they still, like, physically and, like, externally, the series showed them, like, having a crush on each other, or showing affection, some sort of thing. Like, we have not seen that with Rin and Shishamaru, and thank God we haven't, because, again, she was a child.
Yeah.
But they have not even showed that and made a strong argument here, where she is older. It's like, okay, she's now older, she is an adult, but she's still referring to him in a formal way, and it's like, oh, that's not great. That is weird. We have not seen any relationship like that, where we have this formal one-sided dynamic, which, again, referencing in history, where there were a lot of relationships and marriages like that were kind of arranged. We have not seen that it's shown in, like, a positive light in the series. So it's weird that if that's the argument that they're doing here, like, they're not doing a good job at selling me this relationship, right? It's very icky still.
I always thought that what they were going to do when they didn't immediately say that it was Rin was that they were going to pull the old Tamamo bit where it's like, oh, he just, like, his little puffy cloud, like, he separated it from him and it became children
like
or
that.
something. I feel like that could have been, like, more interesting. Like, they're just like, hey, you are, like, little Shishomaru-lits or whatever, something like that. Like, I feel like it could have been interesting, you know? Or, like...
It feels like they just, like, picked, oh yeah, that's the closest female character he's ever been with, her. That's what it feels like. And it's like, wow, that's not great.
Yeah, it's really not great.
It's like, ooh.
Yeah, I just don't know what they were thinking. I really don't know what they were thinking with that. I guess they weren't, is the thing, right? They weren't. They weren't thinking. Do you want to talk about Geki Doll before I get John the usual bits?
The usual.
Sure. God, Yashahime.
Yeah.
Geki Doll, or Geki Idol, it seems to be play on words based on what I've seen so far, is very strange. I was debating about dropping the series because it started off really boring. However, it has a very strange premise where, again, classic classic idol story, like, oh, this girl is inspired and I want to be an idol, and then she's going through all the hoops and hurdles over that and making friends along the way. This show.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
This show is set in the near future, I think. I don't know. It's set in some sort of rhetorical future. And it's set in a city where the city next door just disappeared. There's a giant crater, like, next to the city, and literally just some sort of disaster happened where the city just vanished out of nowhere. And they don't address it. They don't talk about it. They, like, talk about it briefly. But there's a fucking whole ass city that's just gone. Like, it's just gone. And they kind of revisit it again briefly in the most recent episode, but they just don't talk about this giant elephant in the room. Well, a giant crater in the ground. That's what it is. That just in this backdrop. And they're just focusing on the idol stuff. In addition, it's tied in with this other, like, one-shot thing, this OVA called Alice in Deadly School, in which a bunch of these girls are stuck in a school and have to deal with zombies. And apparently Alice in Deadly School is a fictional story set in this world. It's a play put on by the idol troupe the main character is with. Like, it's some sort of weird thing. They're doing, like, a lot of weird stuff with the show, and it's not coming through at all with how boring and just slow the show is. There's, like, a lot of interesting stuff going on, but they're not really selling me on it. The second thing is, like, the actual idol aspect, which is, again, does not feel any different compared to any other idol premise thing. Like, their whole thing is like, oh, yeah, they have this, like, advanced technology now where, like, the idols, like, are doing this, like, whole holographic thing. What they're showing is not that impressive. They're showing, like, literally these characters watching a movie theater, and, like, the idols are just doing their stuff, like a musical concert show. Like, what they're trying to go for is what's similar to what they do with the idols in Macross, where they do this amazing, like, huge projections that can even be seen throughout space, and, like, this whole 4D stuff, and stuff that borderlines, like, virtual reality or, like, some sort of magical illusion going on with how the concerts are done in Macross. They're not doing that here. They're just literally, in the first episode, this girl's in a theater watching this idol show. It's, like, I guess a musical / acting movie. And there's, like, nothing fantastical going on. I guess, like, there's, like, the 3D effect. That's the kind of, like, wearing 3D glasses in a movie theater and the stuff pops out. That's what's happening, but there's nothing really impressive going on. There's, like, this weird dark underbelly of this show that is not really being focused on, because I don't think they know whether or not that it's there. Like, they keep forgetting it's there. But at the same time, like, yeah, I don't know where the series is going. It's so strange. So that's why I'm still watching it. But they're just kind of, it's just, like, kind of going along the road of, like, here's this idol show with a weird premise, but they're not even exploring the weird setting. You know, they're not exploring the weird premise at all. And then now it's going into weird serious stuff. Like, one of the main girls reveals, like, oh, I used to be a gravure idol. And, like, whoa, what the fuck? Because these girls are young. They're very young. That is messed up. And, like, now they're kind of exploring it. I'm like, okay, that's weird. That's interesting. I'm curious as to where this will go. But there's also still a giant crater, like, next to this city. Why is no one talking about this? And it's just, I don't know, there's, like, a lot, there's, like, so much going on with the show. It's trying to be, like, a dark idol show, I guess, but it's not working well so far. It just feels very bland. So whenever something is revealed, it's like, oh, that's kind of weird, and it's just jarring, because then they decide to focus on that arc. So, I don't know, that's, like, kind of the arc so far. I think the most thing I'm impressed by is, like, oh, they're going straight up, like, this is a girls' love show, too. That's pretty much it. That's, like, oh, okay, that's impressive. That's, like, a neat thing. But other than that, there's so many elements in the show that they want to be dark and, like, serious about. Like, they want to be, like, you know, they're trying to be like, oh, yeah, actually, yeah, this is an idol show, but it's not. There's some fucked up thing going on. But it's not giving me any anticipation to any of that whatsoever. So yeah, I'm sticking around it, because in the most recent episode, they in fact have revisited, like, city disappeared years ago stuff, and there seems to be some sort of implication that the president of their company might have something to do with that, or maybe not. I don't know yet. And also, they did show a flashback that one of the characters lost her friends to that accident. So yeah, it seems like they're finally getting to it, but it's like 4 episodes in. Like, why? I don't get, like, what they're trying to do here. Yeah.
This is reminding me of the show After Lost that I watched like 2 years ago now. That was this really mediocre thing, but it was the exact same concept that you're describing. Basically, one of the cities just blew up, all the people in it just vanished,
Right.
got like otherworlded or something like that.
Yeah.
But the entire show was just about how the main girl was in an idol group. It's just like going
That's
back,
weird.
flashback
That sounds exactly
about
the same.
her being in an idol group and all this other stuff. It was so weird. It was one of the weirdest shows I've ever seen. And then I found out that it was a gacha game, and it was like, but the gacha was just you roll it to unlock MP3s from the idol. It was very strange. It's a very weird thing. The only thing I was wondering about this was, I heard it had like some cross promotion thing with some other anime.
Yeah, well,
Was
that's the Alice in Deadly School thing.
Okay.
But I don't know if there's anything else. But yeah, they're just it's odd.
That's so weird.
It's also not based on anything, so it really is. They're trying to do some strange multimedia thing. I would not be surprised maybe after there would be a gacha game, but not now. But and I also wouldn't be surprised if maybe they put out more like anime shorts, like related to their whole troupe, or like, oh yeah, it's just a fictional story. They're acting in the show, but you can watch
Sure.
it as a separate thing. I heard the Alice in Deadly School thing is bad though.
Oh,
It's trying to be, from my understanding, the criticism, it's like, oh, it's trying to be intentionally bad, but it's actually just bad. So yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. I'm kind of worried about it too. I feel like it's gonna pull like a sudden. And a lot of people dropped the first episode because it really was just boring. It was just strange. They set up like, oh yeah, there was a fucked up thing here, but now it's just a boring idol girl show. But I'm sticking around because I have a bad feeling something messed up is gonna happen, like at some point, like near the end, and then it's just gonna be insane. It's just gonna be like I don't know, they're just building it up in such a boring way. But I have a feeling it might go off the rails or not, and I'll just be really disappointed. So.
who's financing all this is my thing. Like, I'm not like, that's not that insane. It's just mainly specifically, I just wonder, like, because I was thinking then again about After Lost, and I was just like, who looks at these concepts and are like in this case, in Geki Doll's case, who is looking at this, like, which would be, is, you know, like you say, like, whatever, it's fine. It's like fine. It's not like notoriously bad or anything. It's mostly confusing, if anything. But it's like, you would get it. But then it's like, who's financing like that to also have the Alice in Deadly School thing with it, right? Like, who is saying like, we need this multimedia thing? Like, for After Lost, who was like, we need to make a gacha game out of this. We need to make, that gives you MP3s, and we need to make an anime about it that has a simulcast, like a simuldub. It had a simuldub in 5 languages, that show, that like no one has even mentioned ever. Like, it's like, who is putting the money into this? It's so weird. It's so weird to me. All right, John, do you want to talk about things that make sense that the money went into them because they are staples of our every week, every day?
Folks,
everyone.
It continues. These continue, but we're getting to the end of Healing Good Precure.
Oh,
we are getting
end of
to the end.
Evangelion type ending where the dog gets really sick.
Oh, I mean, the dog is getting very sick because what happened was I can never remember the fucking pathogerm people's names. What happened is the buff guy hatched a plan because he wants to be the king Byogen now. So he left the portal open, and what's her name? Fuck. Why am I so forgetful about this shit? I'm supposed to be the big fan. The main girl's Nodoka, and then it's Chiyu is the blue girl, and the yellow girl is...
Hinata?
Yes. Hinata, thank you. Hinata sees the portal to the fucking Byogen world open. And she calls up the girls. She's like, listen, we gotta go in there, but let's end this now. And so they go in. They have a big fucking fight with King Byogen, and they whip his ass. And they win. They kill him. But then the buff guy is just like, ha ha ha, you fell into my trap. And he takes a bunch of the, like, crystal shard things, And he shoves like 50 of them inside of him. And then he
God.
becomes the king. He becomes powerful enough to be the king. And so he's just like, all right, I'm going to kick all your asses. And then he does. He whips their ass. There's like a 10-minute long scene of him just beating the shit out of all of them. And then he leaves to go into the real world. And he leaves them in there. And they're stuck in there for a bit, and he just starts causing a fucking ruckus, and the dog is sick. The dog is fucking sick. And so they figure out that if they do their big beam attack, they can open up a portal to get out, and they get out, and they start fighting all the Mega Byogen, whatever the fuck, that he summons, because he summons a bunch of them all at once. And they take care of it pretty quickly. But they get ready to start fighting him again. But then the girl shows up, and she's like, oh, well, I don't want him to be the king. I want King Byogen to come back because I'm in love with him. And the buff guy gets fucking absorbed by the energy of King Byogen. He's still alive, and he absorbs him into him, and then he becomes like ultimate form King Byogen. And he looks like an evil version of Latte's mom.
Oh, that's really good.
It's good as fuck.
Saga shit.
Yeah, it's good as fuck. And so he like goes back to regroup or whatever, but the girls are just like, fuck, he's super strong. And that's like where we are now. But the twink is still there, and he's running away from King Byogen because King Byogen also wants to absorb him. And the twink's like, no, I don't want to die. He actually gets his ass beat, and he appears before Norika, the main girl, and he's like, please let me join back up with you. Let me go into your body and recover. And she runs away. And he's like, you thought I was selfish? You're selfish. You're selfish just like me. And it's like, she just doesn't want to fucking let an enemy heal inside of her. But that's where we are now. We need to, I think we have like two episodes left, folks. And it's going fucking crazy. It's legitimately good. I'm excited to see where it goes. I really am. Do either of you have thoughts about Precure and how it's going?
Listen, I've seen a Precure before. I know it gets whack at the end every time. Maybe I'll watch another one of the new ones these days. I've still only ever seen the first one.
Hey, look, the new season's starting soon. You know, it's gonna have mermaids in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I hate mermaids. That's reminding me of that weird mermaid anime.
Mermaid Melody?
I don't know. It was like a year ago or something.
Oh, okay, it's not.
No.
Mermaid was much older. Mermaid Melody was like another big magic. Well, not big, but it kind of had a big following for magical girl anime. Mm-hmm. They are mermaids.
And then if we're gonna go over Pokemon real quick, folks. First episode we got here, Ash's Farfetch'd is a fucking bastard, and the whole episode is just Ash's Farfetch'd. It's a Galarian Farfetch'd, I should mention. Is just a fucking bastard the entire time. He's just like being a dick and fighting everybody. Just very mean. I'm looking at the fucking trivia for this episode, just to let you know. This episode marks the first appearance of a number of Pokemon species in the main series after long absences. The Pupitar hasn't appeared in the anime for 674 episodes, and now it's returned. Just to let you know. Felt like everyone should know about that. There is a part, because most of the episode is an honestly pretty well done and shot fight scene, which is kind of rare for Pokemon. I have my qualms with Pokemon battles in this show. I thought this one was very good, but at the end of it, it's Farfetch versus a Girder, and Farfetch chops the Girder's girder in half. Which is, crazy to think about. The guy, the Pokemon's trainer is just like, don't worry, I'll make you a new one. It's just so hard to think about, they're born with those, right? The timber,
That's That's like violent.
Yeah, like they always have their piece of wood, and then Timber always has the wood, Girder always has the girder, and then Kunkelder always has the concrete, you know? That's messed up. So in the next episode, they get called out to a farm where there's a bunch of Diglett causing trouble, and it's just that. It's just about them fucking around with some Diglett. There was a pretty good joke where Team Rocket, for some reason, are close by trying to grow their own food, which is really depressing because that they're so broke they need to just like grow like random crops, and they're very bad at it. There's a pretty good moment because Meowth just has like a robot to do the gardening for them, and they're like, oh, well, music helps plants, and so they just start blaring a song, and like Ash and Go and everybody runs up to like tell them to stop because the Team Rocket doing what they're doing is what like drove the Diglett into the garden. And so when Team Rocket does their motto, it is just extremely droned out by the music, and it is incredibly funny. But yeah, it's just about Diglett. The next episode seems like it's going to be fucked up. It's an episode about Suicune. Suicune is getting hunted by like poachers, basically. But it looks like Go catches Suicune. So Go might have a legendary. Yeah.
Well, he's trying to get Mew, right? So
yeah, I mean, it's just
time steps.
I can't think of a time that someone's caught a legendary like that in the show. I mean, there was
like properly.
Yeah, because last season, you know, Mallow like came across that shaman, but that was just like supposed to be like the spirit of her mother or whatever, and then it like left after a couple of episodes.
God, I forgot about that.
And I don't know. Maybe I haven't watched all of it, so maybe someone else had like a legendary for a bit. I don't remember, but.
Well, don't you remember that little stupid motherfucker who had the Darkrai and the fucking other thing?
Oh, I mean, yeah,
like
there
Gen
were
4.
Yeah, there were parts in like the Elite Four, not the Elite Four, the like league battles where someone would be like, "Oh, I have a Latias," you know. Yeah.
It's what a load of hoo-ha.
And I kind of love that. I kind of. I
don't. I just remember that was the year that it was just like. That was where Ash had the epic Greninja or whatever and everything. It was Gen 6, I guess, then. It was the epic Greninja who was, like, very cool and looked like Ash, and then they just lost to a Charizard, and then, like, they beat the Charizard somehow, and then he pulled out Darkrai, and it was just like, oh, okay, Mr. OC over here.
That's very funny, I'm not gonna lie. That's good in my opinion. I think it's funny.
It's just reminding me when I was a little kid, I went to the Pokemon, like, Across America tournament thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I'm going in with my team of little buddies that are all, like, I thought about their team and stuff, but it's, like, mining and shit like that or whatever. No. And then, like, the dude I fought was just like, I have 3 Mewtwo's because there's no rules against that. And it was just, like, cool.
And that man's name was John Machonsky.
Yeah.
There you go. That is your regularly scheduled update.
Well, thank you. I think we got through everything then. We did. All right. So then, John, you can go right into questions here.
All right. If you want to send in a question or an opinion, remember we like opinions too. Go to videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask. You'll sound like these folks right here. First off, from Natalie. I want to know what any of you who have been watching Eurocamp Season 2 think of the apparent obsolescence of the talking pinecone. This is true. They have moved on from the pinecone. Like, the pinecone is there. The pinecone appears in this season. But they very explicitly have a scene where Sima Rin says something along the lines of, like, I don't need a pine cone for this fire. You know, I've figured out better ways to start fires, and the pine cone is sad about that. So how do you all feel about that?
I don't know.
Needs a send-off.
I don't know. What is the pine cone?
in the show, when they started making fires, they pointed out that like using a pine cone is like good for like a fire starter.
Yeah.
And the little pine cone would go like "konnichiwa" and like make little noises and be like, it talked. And now I guess they have deemed it unworthy, I suppose.
That's sad.
It is sad.
They have grown past the pine cone.
They always forget the little people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we've reached more advanced camping here. They've refined their skills, but you can't forget what got you there. The pine cone was there for them.
You can't forget your roots. You can't forget your pine cones.
Yeah. It's sad. And then Anonymous asks, if anyone else is watching Heaven's Design Team, did you learn any new random animal facts from the show? Am I the only one who's watching it?
Yeah.
So far, it's not.
But I can drop one when you finish, because I've learned a few things recently.
Okay.
Unrelated to the show.
I think the thing that I learned that was messed up was just the existence of that like fucked up looking worm thing that they showed. It went extinct, I think. It was just like a big... It wasn't like gigantic, but it was pretty big for what it was, and it was just like some super messed up creature that like existed back in the like... I don't know, maybe like after the dinosaurs, but probably around like... I don't know. It was a long time ago, but I don't think it was as long as you would think. And just like seeing stuff like that, it's very scary. You learn a lot on that show. There's a character on that show who just thinks that like fucked up animals are cute. So she's just like talking about how cute it is that she gave like, I don't know, an echidna the spiked penis, the spiked double penis. Like she thinks that's adorable. She thinks that she thinks it's cute when starfish like shoot out their stomachs so they can eat things that are bigger than them. I actually didn't know that's something interesting that I learned. I thought that starfish did that to like escape predators, and maybe they do that, but I didn't know that they did that also to just like eat things, because then it could like just wrap its stomach around something, digest it, and then bring its stomach back in. I didn't know they could do that. So that's a random animal fact that I learned from that show.
All right, I've got a few. Are you ready?
Okay,
These are just random that I've learned in the last month because
All right.
I'm constantly viciously looking at things
I'm
for
ready.
no reason.
I'm ready.
All right, so Gliscopod, the Pokemon, I didn't know that it was based off of the fact that there are real shrimps out there that can throw punches that are like 55 miles per hour.
Oh, yeah.
Like a mantis
Yeah, the
shrimp or
footage of it's
something.
so
It's
funny.
crazy. It's nuts. There was this one thing because it was going around, this picture of an elephant shrew. Have you ever heard about those?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love them. They're very cute.
I didn't know that they were actually genetically similar to elephants. They're more similar to elephants
Oh.
than they are to like a rodent family.
Like rats.
Yeah. And that's
Weird.
fucking nuts. And then the other similarly to that, because you can see the through line here, where this goes now to the next one, which is that the baby elephants suck on their trunks like thumbs, like babies. And I thought that was like, oh, that was the through line. I was just like, oh, elephants are adorable. Now I need to look up elephants after I looked.
They're weird and adorable.
There was something about a bird I can't remember now, but there was some fucked up thing about bird. I don't know. I love axolotls.
Yeah, something else I really like about that show is that they'll get into like competitions about like how to like undermine each other's animals. Like for example, one of the characters invented birds, and then one of the other characters invented snakes, and specifically like made snakes that could like climb trees and eat the eggs. And so, like a chunk of the episode was like the bird creator trying to figure out a bird like nest situation that could protect the babies, and then the person just kept coming up with like different ways that the snake could get up into the tree or get into the nest to eat the eggs. And then eventually they just came up with like the secretary bird that just kicks the shit out of the snakes. It's just like, I can't come up with anything better than that. That bird just wins. It kills my snake. Like they're like overly protective of the things that they created. And there's like one old guy, the guy who like invented the horse. He keeps wanting to make the unicorn. And so they just keep like showing why the unicorn would suck. There's just like an entire part where it's like, yeah, it would like screw up its heat regulation, so it would like have a seizure and die every time it would be born. And like they were like, all right, well then like make it so the horn regulates heat. And then it's just like, yeah, well then if it uses it to attack something, then it'll break and then it'll die. And it's like, okay, then make it hollow. And then it's like, well, yeah, if we do that, then it's just gonna, it's gonna be like a fingernail and it's just gonna get like scraped off and it's gonna like die. It's just like all these like scientific reasons why these like mythical animals couldn't exist. But then then they take that concept and they're like, well, we can kind of make a unicorn by just slapping it onto an undersea animal. And then it's like, oh, okay, God accepted it, it's a narwhal. They like explain like why it works for the narwhal, but it wouldn't work for a horse for an on the ground animal. And then like that same guy's like, oh well, I want to make a kelpie. I want to make a horse in the water, and then that just gets edited down to a seahorse. It's cute. It's fun.
I remembered what my bird fact was.
Hit us.
It was that toucans curl up into a ball, because I was wondering about like toucan patterns and stuff like that they have on them.
Yeah.
They curl up in a ball so that it looks like their beak is their whole body, basically, when they go to sleep.
That's cute.
So they can only sleep when they do that, and it's very cute.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your fact, and thank you all for sending in questions. Thank you.
All right, that's it. That is everything then. Just a reminder, we are watching Ping Pong, as selected by our patron. Was that James Tarr?
Correct.
Is that who picked it? Awesome. We're talking about that in 2 weeks. So take your time. It's a great series. Classic, some might say, at this stage. All right. If you want to get episodes of the podcast 1 week early, go to patreon.com/VGCC. Get this show. $3 a month gets you it. It's early. 2 episodes a month. Usually, I know recently we've been a little off kilter, but there's so much going on.
It's game of the year. We're almost done.
We're normal now, basically. We're basically at normal, almost. So, yeah, by the time this comes out to everyone, it will be normal. Thank you all for listening, and thank you both for joining me, as always. It's great. And we'll see y'all next time on another episode of Trishkatri. See ya.
まだ見たことない新しい世界地図に描かれていない街も明日にはあるのかなただ一人では恋しでもつまずいてしまいそうな私